Hello and welcome to the corner. I'm the Frosted Glass, and I'm joined by my fellow Alabaster Savages, Jack Gunsky,
Meh.
that a pug that bleats like a sheep, Mo- the birthday savage, Moonshock, Pterodimantus,
Hey everyone.
and this week's special guest, Sunburst.
Hi, everyone.
Can I say something first, real quick? Hey,
No.
everybody. Grass lives matter.
That's right. Now, I know. Before we started, Sun asked me a question, and she does this now and again, and that what that question was.
I guess not.
Yes.
Is the Karen meme sexist?
No, of course not.
Digging into why there isn't a male version of the insult.
There is.
Yeah, isn't it Ken?
Or something.
Actually,
Ken, Kevin, who knows?
I read a little bit, and it's actually an entertaining answer to that.
I've read this article, so yes, I know where this is going.
One of my favorite parts of the coronavirus pandemic has been watching middle-aged, privileged people get embarrassed on the internet for their childish behavior in the face of a few small inconveniences. Having an employee at a grocery store ask you kindly to put on a mask should not result in throwing a temper tantrum and spewing your produce and toilet paper across the room. That is being hoarded, by the way, which is another stupidity demonstrated by these people. Unfortunately, many of these instances turn racial. These types of clips on social media have created an influx of education on the slang term Karen. The name to call a spoiled, racist white lady has become so well known that it is even given a definition on dictionary.com, albeit in the slang section of the site. Karen is a pejorative slang term for an obnoxious, angry, entitled, and often racist middle-aged white woman who uses her privilege to get her way or police other people's behaviors. And while most women who are actually named Karen haven't taken huge offense to the meme, there are always going to be a select few who want to get their feelings hurt.
Oh my God! If you are,
Can I just interject to say my mother's name is Karen, and she absolutely loves that this meme has taken off, and like whenever anyone asks her, "Oh, it must be so horrible being named Karen," she goes, "I fucking love it."
Let's see. They argue they are being personally attacked for something they themselves haven't done, being stereotyped into a category that is obviously unflattering. There have been hundreds of think pieces online about the scale of offensiveness that should be tied to the meme, but allow me to add just one more to that pool of articles, and with a spin. Why are white women being targeted over white men for these types of racist tirades in public?
Because they're
Here's
the
the
ones
question.
who do the racist tirades in public.
What about black people? Why aren't black people targeted? Yeah, I find it funny because this is clearly based on the progressive stack, as in women are above men on the progressive stack. That's the way this question's phrased. Sorry, go on, Terry.
Black people are pure as the driven snow and never do anything wrong, and that is why they're not targeted by this negative meme.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have to remember though on the priority of importance ladder, white men are at the very bottom. Straight white men are at the very bottom, and then there's like 500 or 600 rungs above that, and then you finally get to something like I don't know, maybe a straight white woman. But obviously, your colored people are going to be at the very top, and then above them, you're going to get your trans, all that kind of shit. But yeah,
Here's a question.
know your role.
Why
Jack.
is it that literally every single societal problem always defaults to the lowest person on the progressive stack? Why
Because
is it
white
that
people are evil.
always defaults to their fault, as though it's like statistically impossible that white men could be as responsible for every single societal ill in the universe, and even ones that don't exist.
What you're forgetting, Jack, is that straight white men are the best people and therefore have the most power, and therefore they're the ones who do everything.
But you think that these vast generalizations would cut against someone who's slightly higher on the progressive stack even once. Just once. And it literally never happens. I've never heard of it happening ever.
Because
Jack.
oppressed people are not to be blamed for their own oppression. That is just not on.
Jack, do you want to know why there are earthquakes off of the coast of Japan? Because of white man.
Yep. I mean, the Richter scale. Richter, white man.
Yep.
And Andy
assuming.
Richter, he used to be on Conan.
You say that shit, but right now there's some people going like, all these earthquakes happen because of climate change.
The Richter scale is racist.
Why do you think they're called acts of God, and God is often portrayed as a white man? It really is all white men's fault.
It's Richter with a hard R.
Damn you, Jehovah.
Why hasn't a male version of Karen caught on to make bigoted men just as embarrassed and accountable as women? It doesn't mean people haven't tried to identify a male variant of the insult. In fact, one Reddit user performed a statistical analysis to determine that the name of men who are around the same age as most women named Karen is Terry. It hasn't seemed to go viral, nor has any other attempt to masculinize the meme. Well, hopefully we can change that. Stop being a Terry.
My mum was like over the moon when I told her about this article, that she's like the female, she's the Karen, and I'm the Terry. And it was like the article basically named both of us as problems.
That's perfect. Stop being a Terry.
Never gonna happen.
Can I just even aside from the Terry in our chat, in our group, Terry was the name of the Batman in Batman Beyond. So just saying, she's ripping on Batman now.
Also, more importantly, Terry is the name of 1/3 of Monty Python. 2 members, 1/3 of Monty Python is named Terry.
And also the name of famed writer Terry Pratchett.
It was also awesome. Or was.
Okay.
He
We're
has
connecting
been
the dots.
really not doing his best work since he died. There's been a definite drop off.
Let's see. I suppose that's what makes the internet such a crazy place. Things take off like roller coasters for no specific reason. Generalizations culminate around something, and soon you have a phenomenon. The most concrete...
I can't hear that word without thinking of that song.
The most concrete argument for the female slanted insult being lit ablaze was probably the story about Amy Cooper, a white woman in Central Park in New York, calling the police and making false claims about a black man, Christian Cooper, on Memorial Day this past spring. It was a horrible example of the ways white people wield their power over minorities, and the fact that it was a woman heading the ugliness is the reason for the female namesake in the meme. If it would have been a man in the same situation, perhaps Steve or Bob would have taken off.
See, the problem I have with that is, if that was true, why isn't the name an Amy instead of a Karen? Like, if she's the genesis of it all.
Also, if you look at what happened in that situation, both of them were being Karens.
Yes, that's true.
Because he was being like a little bitch about how she didn't have her dog on a leash. So he was also being a Karen.
But he's black, so he's allowed to be.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting for this privilege card to show up in the mail. I have yet to receive it. No.
Or maybe it wouldn't have. Sexism and misogyny is a valid topic of discussion here when getting to the root of the problem. There are plenty of viral moments that have occurred during the pandemic that involve middle-aged and racist white men behaving poorly. They are called out accordingly online, but the post usually calls the perpetrator a male Karen.
No, they don't. They call him a Nazi for crying out loud. That is the male Karen. A Nazi. Ay, ay, ay.
Now, sometimes they use neo-fascist or something like that.
Or Trump.
Why, though? It's a question that is infinitely fascinating to me. By using the female namesake as the predominant adjective in the term, we are still drawing more attention to a woman's behavior, even when a man is the person in question.
You know, you have to look outside the box on this. Like, so far, all this shit that I'm hearing right here is we're such victims, and so you're pissed off because we are seeing all these women complaining, and we're pointing them out. Yet somehow we're missing the men. I highly doubt that, because these men they're being picked out left and right. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about men not having their share of the oh my god, I'm gonna bitch about everything. We just so happen to call them a male Karen. Who fucking cares? They're still being called out.
Listen, lady who wrote this stupid fucking article, I want you to go through your entire website for articles that pit men versus women, and count the number of times where men are favored in the article over women. Just count the number of times.
What you're forgetting is that men deserve it.
If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that white men are never called out for racism. And that's a problem we need to fix.
No one ever criticizes white men. Ever.
I know.
Ever.
Well, every time a white person is born, another star is added to the night sky.
What?
Sorry, go on.
The only answer I can come up with involves the deep-rooted psychological stereotypes about women being less aggressive than men throughout history. This expectation that a woman should never behave in such an outrightly belligerent manner is most likely the subconscious expectation that has led to the Karen meme.
These people have obviously never seen an episode of Maury when "You Are Not the Father" has actually been revealed.
But broadly speaking, women are less aggressive than men. Like, not on an individual basis. You can find, aggressive women and passive men, but broadly speaking, that is the tendency. Men tend to be more aggressive.
Yeah, but gender is a social construct.
And it's just so happens that it's constructed so that men are usually the more aggressive gender.
Reality is a social construct at this point.
That's right. This is a great aside from a study titled "Aggression in Women: Behavior, Brain, and Hormones" that articulates some of these long-held beliefs on female hostility.
Female hostility, good God.
Yeah, I'm not reading
Women
that part.
tend to be passive-aggressive rather than outright aggressive.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, shut up.
As perfectly stated, women are not expected to be violent, either physically or vocally. This contrast between expectation and reality is what created the ultimate firestorm in meme form. The fact that people just accept a man's aggression as par for the course because of long-standing beliefs about masculine and feminine behavior is unfortunate and unfair.
Or maybe the reason that this particular meme has stuck to a woman is because the characteristics that fit what is described as a Karen usually applies to women in general.
Mm-hmm.
Not all women, but there are many women out there, and it seems to be predominantly women who are screechy and shrill and obnoxious and will immediately seek some sort of personal what am I trying to think? They'll try and seek some sort of personal gratification out of every single interaction they have with the people around them, and if they don't get it, then they are going to find someone who will give it to them.
Well, women in general, women in today's society in general are extremely entitled because society does give them anything they demand. So they've got no reason not to act entitled because it works. Like they get
Yeah.
what they want if they act entitled. So
Well,
If
these are also
we-
the same women. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, sorry. No, you go first.
I was just gonna say these are also well, a lot of these are the same kind of women that they look for things to be offended about. They're like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's-
god, I want to be professionally offended because I have nothing else better to do. So fuck you all. I hate everybody, and I have to bitch about something, or else I'll hit my fucking head will explode.
Well, that's the thing. When you have a large sect of society that plays games like the progressive stack, and oh, by the way, it's almost like a middle child syndrome of a sort, where white women are near the bottom of the progressive stack, but they're not at the bottom, so they don't even have that dignity of being the worst at something, and so
Right.
they just lash out at everyone around them.
I just like, Karens are, women behaving badly, and of course it's men's fault.
Of course
Yeah.
it is.
See, like I said, it is always the bottom of the progressive stack gets blamed.
Well, and you also
Always.
have everything and everybody. They're trying so hard to line up behind what they call the better side, and then anybody who's not on their side is basically the devil or the evil person or somebody who is not worthy of any kind of attention. Look up the way the polarization that occurred with this last election. You have people on both sides that are like, "Oh, you're not on this side. Fuck you. I hate you. Get away." Unfriended or that kind of bullshit. Especially with the 2016 election, people that are normally we're talking to each other. We're talking to each other. But if you just so happen to pick the wrong side, I'm not going to talk to you ever again. Unfriended, or I'm just going to block you out from my life.
Look at what Marina Sirtis tweeted. She basically said, yeah, it sucks that Texas has no power, but you mostly vote red, so it's your fault, your own fault.
Wow.
Yeah. And like she's claiming that she's on the right side and she's but like that is outright evil. I mean,
It really
to me,
is.
that is a disgusting thing to say and think that yeah, it sucks that you're going through something terrible, but you think differently to me, so you deserve everything you get. I mean,
Right.
Well, it's like I've said over and over again. This is a group of people who have preemptively struck the notion that they might be capable of doing something evil. And when you do that, that is when you become the most capable of doing the greatest evils of all. It's when you don't understand that as a human being, you are capable of doing the exact same things that Adolf Hitler did. You are capable of that.
I forget who said it, but there was a quote about like those who rule you for your own good are the most tyrannical because they do so with the blessing of their own conscience. Like someone who's doing something outright evil knows that they're being a shitbag, and so they might have some guilt about it. But if they think they're being a prick to you for your own good, then they don't feel guilty about it. They feel validated, and so they're gonna just keep going. They're not gonna have any natural instinct to stop because they think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and
why that's why the idea of voting against your own interests is always so cringy to me, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
essentially what that is.
It
Well,
is a group of people who are. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Moon.
Oh, I got to clear my throat. Go ahead.
It's a group of people who are so obsessed with themselves, really, that they believe that they are effectively perfect. They believe that they are perfect, that they are not capable of doing anything bad, not even by accident. They don't think that they're capable of doing wrong by total accident.
Well, that's
And they
because
don't
they
understand.
feel. No, go ahead, man. Can you continue? You were
Oh,
making a
sorry.
point.
And that is what allows them to get away with doing anything they want. They can do literally anything.
Well, you've definitely seen in their ranks whether something is good or bad depends entirely on who does it. If Ted Cruz does something, that's evil. If AOC does the exact same thing, oh well, that's just stunning and brave. That go you champion AOC you. It's why those college videos where like someone from Prager University will say, "Can you believe Trump said this disgusting thing?" And go, "That is the worst thing I've ever heard." Actually, it was Nancy Pelosi. You know, now that I've thought about what you just said, no, I can see where she's coming from.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's because it's they have not only accepted this thing, that this fact in quotation marks, that they can do no wrong, but they have also projected that onto everyone who agrees with them, which means that everyone who agrees with them is perfect and everyone who disagrees with them is the greatest evil of all time, because they're perfect. And when you go against something that's perfect, you are deliberately trying to create evil.
Well, yeah, I mean, what Terry was saying, I've seen that happen myself. I mean, they have people out there going to universities or just picking up people on the street, like that would be normally be in like your progressive or your blue states, and they're saying, "Would you believe what Trump said?" Blah, blah. And then they give them out a line that some Democrat said, and they kind of agree when they hear it's from Trump that said it. Oh my God, he's such an asshole. He's such a dick. He's such a racist. Blah blah. But then they think, oh no, it was actually said by this person. They're like, oh well, I guess they must have had some reason for it.
Yeah, and sorry.
I was just gonna say that's exactly what Terry said earlier.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what I've seen that so much. There's just such so much fucking hypocrisy.
Well,
You know,
what about when I don't know who it was, but someone took Maxine Walters' thing about, you know, push back on them, make it known that they're not welcome. They just replaced Trump with Cuomo, and all the leftists were like, "This is incitement. You're calling for the, you know, attacks on Congress people. This, you should be kicked off Twitter." It's like, that was Maxine Waters. It's just I replaced one word. And he goes, well, don't give me that whataboutism. What Maxine did and what you did are two separate things.
right?
It's because at the end of the day, the notion of I can do no wrong in these people has trumped the notion of absolute logic. That logic is not, in fact, the end game for decision making, but rather I am perfect is the end game for decision making. And so that's why you can see these logical contradictions, where a person says, you know, I hate this person, he's the worst in the world. Oh well, the other person said. That's where that comes from. Is it's the person not being able to understand that logic. That logic is something that is concrete. It is immutable in nature. It's something that you can't define away. It's something that you can't define it away. Unlike everything else that these people try to do, it will still be there, and it will still say you're wrong.
But, you know, Irving Twin.
Yeah.
He has a good video where he basically says the same thing, that principles are not the worldview of the left. Outcomes are, and so as long as it leads to an outcome that they believe that they want, anything can be justified.
No, but that's not true though, because sometimes they will justify the outcome in order to protect the tribe. And so if the outcome doesn't come the way they want it to, and it is unequivocally a result of their own actions, they won't necessarily say the other guy did it. They might just say this is the outcome we wanted, which is why you have a whole bunch of people right now defending Joe Biden. And they'll be in the fact, oh well, Joe Biden.
Those are overflow facilities, not cages.
Yeah.
And it's just cultural norms.
Yes.
And you have some people who are waking up to this. I mean, Razorfist did a pretty good video on it this morning about buyer's remorse for Joe Biden, where people are starting to realize that Joe Biden has not only done nothing that he's promised, he's actively reversed some of his promises.
Well, I will defend Joe on the cultural norm things because I'm fully convinced he thinks genocide is the name of his press secretary.
Genocide, the Irish press secretary.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, one final thought on this before I'll shut up about it. To me, this is all about empowerment. You know, you have these people that like the author of this article, for instance. You know, she is just all off on a tizzy, saying all this kind of bullshit, and people like her are completely empowered by your news stations, your newspapers, your fucking Medium, all this kind of. They're like, oh yeah, this is absolutely the way you should do this. This is absolutely correct, and you can do no wrong. And oh my God, how dare those males or those white men? Oh my God, how dare they actually do something? You go, girl. You say what you need to say to make sure all these people are put in their place. And oh my God, how dare they say anything against us because they racist or sexist, anything. It's like anything they try to say to defend themselves. Oh, we don't want to hear that shit. We know we're right, and we're not gonna say anything else about it. There's no two ways. It's our way or the highway. Fuck you, you racist motherfucker.
But it's only the highway if you have an electric car.
The Karen meme is all in good fun. It draws attention to people who deserve to be made accountable for horrible behavior, and I would never try to insinuate that women should get offended at the meme or victimize themselves after committing a wrongdoing. What I do think...
Isn't that the entire purpose of this article?
No.
Shut up, Jack. What I do think they can get offended at is the lack of a corresponding male meme. Racist and privileged behavior is disgusting no matter what gender is performing those actions.
Oh my God.
The fact that the attempts at masculine versions of the insult haven't stuck is even more proof that female indiscretions are often honed in on much more critically. Or it's just because the left can't meme.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's part of the fabric of our culture. You can't change someone or something's DNA. Tell that to a tranny.
I was going to say, you want to bet?
America's misogynistic, and we become even more so when it's time to place all of the blame on someone for a problem. Privilege and racism is all-encompassing. The hit back against it should be too. Concluding takeaways. The Karen meme itself is not offensive, but the fact that there isn't... Also, she's just repeating herself.
So can I get concluding home delivery instead? Because I'm not going to pick it up.
Alright. Well, it looks like that's the end of the article then. Which means it's time for the first game. And we're actually trying a new game today. Now, as our friend Scribe over on the Nords of the Light, I believe it's called, he likes to do Mad Libs now and then. And, everybody loves Mad Libs, but I thought we could put our own spin on it.
Oh, fun.
Which is why we're playing Sad Libs.
Oh dear.
Now, what I did is I took 4 different Medium headlines and took out one word. And each of you is going to get a headline and a word that they have to fill in Mad Lib style. And the chat is going to vote on which one is best. All right, so Jack, from you, I need a plural noun.
Jews.
Oh, God.
Let's see.
See, now you're putting me on the spot here. I got to think about a person.
Jews.
And not somebody that
I like he repeats that as he's writing it down.
Adolf
Okay, then,
Hitler. Adolf Hitler. There
Jews.
you go. Adolf Hitler.
All right.
So I just need an object.
Adolf Hitler.
Should I stay on theme and just go concentration camp?
You do whatever you want.
Yeah, just do that.
Yeah, just for the sake of brevity, I'll shorten it to Con Camp.
Cotton campy.
And Sunburst, I need a living thing plural.
It's a living thing.
Sun?
I know, I'm thinking. If
I'm taking a dive. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, you can't do Democrat voters because most of those are dead.
Well, since we're going through that, living thing, Germans, why not? We'll stick with the theme.
Let's see. Germans. Okay. So, first let's look at Jack's. Black children don't have the privilege to just be Jews. And now Moonshock. Adolf Hitler, the tale of Harlem's most famous lesbian. And now Terry's. Touching a black student's concentration camp in school is a racist no-no.
Don't touch my concentration camp.
And now Sons. Germans rape men. It happened to my husband.
Strange enough, that one actually could work.
Every German rapes men. Bunch of horny bastards.
All right. And now I'm going to start the poll. The instructions on how to vote are up on the screen there. You have 90 seconds.
The tale of Harlem's
You
most
have
famous
90
lesbian.
seconds to comply.
I know we don't get a vote, but if I did, I'd be voting Moonshock.
Same.
This cracks me up. Make sure that you precede everything with an exclamation point in the word vote, and then space, then capital.
Well,
You
only
now
if you want
have
your vote to
60
count.
seconds to comply.
We haven't gotten any votes yet.
Apparently, these people are. They must be dumbstruck at just the coolness that is my line.
Oh, we got to vote for Moon.
Is it case sensitive though? Will it pick up a lowercase or uppercase? Oh yeah, it did. Cool.
Hey, Jack's cheating.
I'm a member of chat too.
The rules for chat don't include us. That's why you keep getting kicked out of the captain contest.
I think that Jack needs to be timed out.
You're
I
just
think that's
jealous
okay.
because you didn't think of that idea first.
Well, none of us thought of cheating except you.
All right, and the poll's over, and by unanimous vote, it seems Moonshock has won.
Oh yeah.
With Adolf Hitler, the tale of Harlem's most famous lesbian.
That's perfect.
Although I do like black children don't have the privilege to just be Jews.
Did we reveal what the original was?
Let's see. Do I have them written down still? Oh,
I'll say, in rebuttal to the first one, say, tell that to the black Israelites.
it's black children don't have the privilege to just be kids. touching a black student's hair in school is a racist no-no. Gladys Bentley, the tale of Harlem's most famous lesbian. And women rape men, it happened to my husband.
Was it her that did it?
But
I would know. I was the one that did it.
I like that Sun outed you as a rape victim of Germans.
Thanks, baby.
You're welcome. You outed yourself, though, sitting on the rug at your parents' bed.
Hey. That was scarred for life, okay?
And
We're
speaking
all
of
scarred for life.
And speaking of Moon's parents having sex, happy birthday, Moon, because it's now past midnight.
Thanks.
Hey guys, I think this calls for a song.
Happy birthday to me.
It was the heat of the moment.
In your eyes.
Sundown, you better take care. Sorry.
Yeah, it did specify which song.
That's what I said.
Send in the clowns.
All right, and now it's time for our next article.
Oh, please be the one I want it to be.
How I Seek Healing Through Witchy Woo-Woo.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Time to trigger.
I hate you. I will take the cupcakes and throw them all out now.
No, not my cupcakes.
God, I hate this story.
Oh, you're gonna get some nice responses out of her. So
I'm-
everybody, be quiet and let her do her thing.
I'm gonna just sit back and just see what happens.
Let's see. We've all undergone some form of trauma peppered throughout our formative years that have left us just a bit broken as adults. Though not all of us are honest or aware of how deep that trauma runs and the shape it takes in our everyday life, and I used to be exactly like that. I've experienced all sorts of childhood trauma, from corporal punishment being the discipline of choice by my parents, molestation from family friends, caustic teachers, teasing from my peers about my weight, and any other innocuous things, and religious conditioning that was more damaging than it was soothing.
I just like that you put being called fat on the same level as being molested.
Mhm.
Clearly, that's those are parallel things. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one is being touched by a stranger, the other is being touched by a cupcake.
Hey.
The sequel to Touched by an Angel.
Touched by an uncle.
Touched by my cousin. The formative years.
I've battled with anxiety and depression since I was a teenager, but I still remained in denial about how that trauma was bearing fruit in my life. As a young adult, it never occurred to me to seek professional help to unearth what I'd buried so deep within myself, just so I was able to cope on the base of levels.
Well,
Okay. Especially since I grew up in a culture that considers talking about mental health issues to be taboo, and seeking a mental health care professional to unpack your issues as a clear sign you're mentally broken beyond repair.
Yet you can somehow put together 3 words and make an article like this.
Like many, I suffered in silence. In
can
fact,
you go back to doing that?
Article over.
In fact, when I was diagnosed with anxiety by a doctor, his advice to me was to stop worrying. But that's a good doctor. That's like the old joke, you know, like the I got insomnia. Oh, just get plenty of sleep.
Or it hurts when I do this, so stop doing that.
Yeah.
It hurts when I stab my...
Built vanishing cabinets within my psyche to sequester the pain of all the trauma. I built a department of mysteries within my mind that held the cabinet and then locked the door. Someone's taking a creative writing class.
You just read too many Harry Potters.
Does she take her wand and wave it at her heart and say, Reparo?
No, boo boo.
Witchy woo woo, save me.
All right, gonna skip ahead a little to get to the point.
Thank you.
There's a point.
Oh God, no.
I'm a self-proclaimed witch. Like most women in my generation, it started with watching the cult classic The Craft. Sure, there were other movies that came before, but none like The Craft that made us think we too could be blessed with the power. And while I don't do glamour spells to change my hair color, or love spells to get a guy to fall in love with me, I do use witchcraft to help me unravel years of trauma. And here's how I do it. I use the power of ritual.
I love the fact that she has a Tori Amos quote there.
Can I just ask a question? Witches are supposed to do spells that get tangible results. Why once a witch does a spell and it doesn't get tangible results because reality is reality, what the fuck does she do?
Oh, you'll find out, Jack. You'll find out.
Dear.
You should have heard her when I was reading her this in the car. Oh my God.
Best witchy woo-woo practices for self-healing.
I just love that witchy woo woo.
Number 1, releasing on the full moon. What, like taking a shit or something? What?
Oh yeah.
She holds it for an entire month and then just one big fucking release.
You can always just sit on a dryer if you need that effect. Just saying.
It is natural for a witch to follow the ebb and flow cycles of the moon. Oh boy, I don't like where this is going.
It's not going there. Trust me. It doesn't go there.
Okay.
Don't spoil the fun.
Because you want him to see him read the whole article, right? He's got to know that doesn't go there. I'll admit, that's where my brain went when you first told me that was, we'll release. I'm like,
every 28 days.
Yeah.
Many cultures in the past honored the natural cycles of the moon, and women were the most in tune with her energy. As the moon waxes and wanes, our own emotional inner world responds in kind. I've learned to use this cycle to release what no longer serves me in my current cycle of life. On the night of the full moon, I complete a ritual of releasing. This can be anything that I feel no longer lends to my growth as an individual, like witchcraft. They include, but are not limited to, ways of thinking, attitudes, behaviors, habits, and desires that no longer align with who I want to be, etc. At the beginning of my journey, my ritual was simple. I would write a list of 5 to 10 things that I wanted to release on a sheet of paper. Then I would read them out loud and affirm that I am ready to release them. To seal this symbolic release, I would burn the paper.
So there's sanity, there's common sense, all that kind of shit.
Just writing a diary and self-checking. I mean, come on. It's not what you. Most people do that on a daily basis. Go through their mind and get rid of shit that they don't need. Duh.
But
Stop making sense.
But are they
I don't.
are they in tune with the power of the moon, though?
I don't know. I'm married to the moon, so you know.
Hey.
I know what you are thinking. That sounds like a simple placebo effect and can't possibly be beneficial. But actually, you can be surprised how well a placebo can work when employed correctly and with great determination. Now my full moon ritual...
If it's fully delusional, then the placebo effect is stronger.
Wait. She's admitting that this is a placebo effect.
Yes. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize when they read this. And she's completely saying all this shit that I'm about to say is nothing but one big gigantic placebo. But I want you to take it as gospel because it really works.
I'm full of shit, but I know I'm full of shit.
And you need a great release.
And my being full of shit works for me because I lie to myself. But I'm not really lying to myself because I know I'm full of shit.
Now my full moon ritual has evolved to include the tarot. I began reading tarot in 2014. I use a book called Get a Life, How to Relieve Past Life Karma Through the Tarot, and it has remarkably changed my releasing.
She needs a better word than releasing. That sounds
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like, since when did the Kama Sutra become tarot?
Also, tarot is bullshit. Like,
Mm.
And also, nobody, not me. That's a hate fact.
I'm pretty sure I heard that tarot cards are actually like younger than actual like playing cards, like a 52 deck.
I could believe that.
They have about as much power as a Ouija board.
Yeah, which is to say, all of the power. They're very magical items.
Through this ritualistic act, I forced myself to be accountable for the very darkest aspects of my life, of myself, confront them, acknowledge them, and then release them. As the luminary wanes subsequent the full moon leading up to the new moon, is she just naming Twilight movies now? I can take real action in ensuring I'm making strides to not allow those things to affect me any longer.
By joining
But it's
Team
a placebo.
Jacob. But it is a placebo.
Active manifestation on the new moon. On the new moon, I use the energy to manifest what I want in my life. It's more or less goal setting for witches and spiritual people. You set the goals you wish to achieve and write them out. I like to write them in my book of mirrors. I mean, who doesn't? My spiritual account journal, and on a separate sheet of paper for burning. It's a lot of burning.
I don't know. She says, are you burning books here, honey? You do know what other group of people burn books, right?
I go further sometime by anointing a candle for a specific purpose that is the overarching theme of my list to give my manifestation added power. Like on my release, I read the list out loud, speak some words of power about my desires being made manifest, and then I burn it. The idea is that as the moon waxes leading up to the full moon, your desires should begin to come to fruition.
I would love to know what her words of power are.
So effectively, this woman read The Secret 10 years ago and then ripped it off into her witch routine.
Yes.
Yes.
A to-do list.
I think
That's all it is.
I think her power word is just the N word.
Let's hope so.
Or Black Lives Matter. That's my power words.
I'm just glad that witches found something to do after they spent all that time just trying to curse Donald Trump.
Well, the curse worked. He didn't win re-election.
That's true.
Well,
I don't
isn't
think it was at their house.
How long ago was the story written, though?
2019, I think.
I thought it was longer than that.
I have to see all the way at the top to see it, but that's all right.
March of 2019.
Okay.
Naturally, setting goals are only the first step. You then have to carry out actions to ensure what you've set actually manifest in your life. So manifesting requires action. Carl Jung stated, "The shadow to be the unknown dark side of the personality." According to Jung, the shadow, in being instinctive and irrational, is prone to psychological projection, in which perceived personal inferiority is recognized as a perceived moral deficiency in someone else.
I love how she equates these quotes to the stupid bullshit that she's talking about.
Yeah.
Shadow work and spiritual journaling.
Shadow work. She one of those little shadow puppets. Hey, look, I can make a bird. Wee, wee, wee.
You know, I don't think that Jung was talking about shadow in the way that you were referring to it, lady.
Yeah.
When doing shadow work, a big part of the journey is recognizing those hot-button issues which seem to consistently raise your blood pressure or make you feel depressed or like you're drowning.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
Being underwater is a big contributor to feeling like you're drowning.
Yeah. So instead of trying to, swim to the surface, just like burn a piece of paper and you'll be fine.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
You might need some sort of oil that will burn underwater because it's going to be tricky to burn it while you're drowning.
Yeah.
Trump over and over again. Nothing else harmful about it. Just sending her constant barrages of Donald Trump letters.
Well, that would be convenient because then she wouldn't have to write it out herself before she burnt it.
I think we should see if she weighs the same as a duck.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Let's see. Identifying those things gives you the power to begin working at the root of them. You can work to understand where certain anxiety-driven fears, complexes, or negative behaviors stem from. Comprehending their genesis leads you to see why they hold so much power over your life now and how they keep causing trouble for you. To do this, I created another ritual that I carry out before and after I do my shadow work. I designated a black candle, carved specific runes of release and cleansing, dressed it in herbs for cleansing like hyssop, rosemary, and yarrow, and anointed it with cedar oil for cleansing. I say a few words and light the candle and begin with smudging myself and the area with sage, followed by a quick meditation to ground myself.
Stop talking about your area.
Basically, what she does is light incense and meditate. That's what that is.
Then I follow the journal prompt from the list I have specifically for shadow work. I conclude with a release and smudge myself to cleanse the negativity I just released on paper.
Okay, so
I conclude with a release. Most of the time I do so.
So she's talking about cleansing an area and then with a release and then
I really don't want to hear about this woman's masturbation ritual anymore.
That's her shadow work, Jack, you mean?
Spiritual cleansing baths for self-care.
Let me stop you right here. This whole sentence, she takes a bath called a spa day. Next.
The element
That's all
of...
it is. Spa day.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. In the end, I continue to struggle daily, and I know my journey to healing will most likely continue through the rest of my life. But I actively am trying to uproot years of burying my innermost hurt. Things still happen to me that throws my life back into flux, and while sometimes I gave in to the darkness, I do find ways to pull myself back again. Witchcraft has a...
Wait, hold on. She gave into the... You're a witch! I thought darkness was kind of your thing.
Yeah, did she not say that she was doing her shadow work too?
She's a witch. Isn't a witch supposed to be a devil worshiper or something?
I think they're Wiccan.
Yeah, they probably just worship trees and a bunch of hippy-dippy bullshit. That's what witches are nowadays.
Yeah, typically. Well, they're also anti-Trump too.
Yeah. Witchcraft has allowed me to do that in a relatively easy way that is much more cost-effective than seeking a psychologist.
Yeah, take a bath, write in a journal, and light a candle.
And burn stuff.
And don't forget your solution to actually getting mental help is further delusion.
I know, placebo effect, right? Mm-hmm.
Delusion is a great solution for all of your problems. Ask your doctor about delusion today.
While I am a big advocate for seeking therapy, I also know that it isn't always the easiest financially. There are ways that you can begin a journey of healing all on your own, and my methods don't have to be what works for you. The takeaway here is to go within and confront your inner hurt, and then work to pull it out by the root. I wish you luck on your own healing journey.
Yeah.
Not only does she admit it's a placebo, she says this might not even work for you, even if it was real.
Ask your doctor if witchcraft is right for you.
2 out of 7 doctors.
I will point out placebo, which is exactly the right number of letters for a Jackbox name.
All right. And with the end of the second article... What was that, son?
I said I hate that woman.
I
I mean, literally, all it is she says, take a bath, pamper yourself, light a candle, write a to-do list, work at getting what you want.
And then admit it's all one big placebo
Do
effect.
every day in their normal freaking lives. Yes, hurdles come along. Hello, I've been married to the ginger. Everybody knows what's happened to me over the past couple of years.
Hey.
What am I supposed to do? Crawl into a hole and die? No, you move forward. Oh my God, that woman. And then she calls it witchy woo woo.
I told you.
Oh, witchy woo woo. Yeah.
Side effects of delusion include mood swings, obsessive behavior, and erectile dysfunction.
And with the end of the second article, it's time for the second game, which is Poe or No.
Oh.
Where, and in this, son, for this game, I give 3 headlines, 2 of which are from Medium, and 1 I made up, and you have to figure out which one is made up.
I've seen this one before.
Well, good
But
for
Jonathan
you.
Frakes also had a hand in it. Oh, good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Stop explaining things to me. Oh.
Stop mansplaining.
Oh, wait, my name's not Karen. Never mind.
And the chat will also be able to play along by voting in the poll. All right, so
No rigging the poll, Jack.
yeah. So today's headlines are: A, why the 4-hour workday should be standard. B, is being anti-racist and white an oxymoron? Not if you do the work. And C, the interconnectedness between gender and climate change.
Ooh. The first one sounds like something some dipshit would actually come up with, so I'm not going to say A.
And I started the poll, so people in chat can vote.
Yeah.
I'm going to go B. B is made up.
I'm going to have to say B as well.
I'm going to say C.
Son?
Because interconnectedness is just ridiculous.
Look how many letters that is. Shit. I mean, somebody was working overtime to get that word together.
Son, which one do you
I'm
think
gonna
is made up?
say A.
All right, A.
I knew she would.
So that's 2 for B, 1 for A, 1 for C.
The thing is that sometimes there are like little tiny contextual hints that let you know that Frosted wrote it. So I'm trying to see if I can pick any of that out.
Jack, the man reads Medium articles, for fuck's sake.
I know, but sometimes it's just slight, like almost imperceivable variations in the wording.
And what are those hints?
I don't know.
Looks like B is leading in the poll. Another 5 seconds or so.
You have to vote, Jack. You can't just say B is fake.
All right, and it looks like B won the poll. And the answer is
Why don't you be C?
B is fake.
Oh,
Damn.
I don't know. I
was
thought
about 75% sure I'd seen the A article in my Medium feed because I get emails from them all the time. So I was pretty sure I'd already seen that one. So I was between B and C.
Maybe the key to it being fake was that a Medium person wouldn't use the word oxymoron because it's offensive to morons.
yeah.
I'm offended that you say that.
Cannibalistic Wizard says B is from CNN.
Yeah. I thought the not if you do the work part made it sound more real.
It did. It definitely did.
It that does definitely make it work.
All right. And now it's time for the third article. What I learned from having my trans teen dead named.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Why? Why, Frosted? Why?
And this is why I'm dead inside.
What
Just
dead
like
name?
this teen's name.
What dead naming is, why it matters, and a few steps anyone can take to avoid doing it.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this outright. Your teen is not trans. They're a regular person, whatever they are, and they want to be cool. And this is how they try and get with it. And whatever dead naming did to them was probably just an intentional overreaction so that they could get more attention, because
And-
that's what teenagers do.
And any and all references to Desmond is amazing. You got to take a shot.
It's not like I'm pressed or anything, just mildly amused. Okay, maybe I did wince and cringe a little, because it was a mistake you don't expect, the kind that catches you off guard, you know? Earlier today, while clearing out some notifications, I decided to catch up on voicemail. Now, maybe it's because I'm an empath and sensory...
Oh my god.
Got another Counselor Troy here.
We just got out of that article.
Because I'm capable of feeling empathy, I am unique and special.
And
Somebody
since...
needs to witchy woo to this person.
And sensory input can overwhelm me sometimes, but I really don't like voicemail. For that matter, I really don't like talking on the phone in general. But listening to voicemail is like a chore, necessary, but you dread having to do it every time.
But if you're an empath, you should already know what they're going to say, so you don't need to check your voicemail.
Not psychic, she's just empathetic. There's different things.
Yeah.
Fine, fuck you then.
I bet she shouted some awful shit at a Trump supporter right before writing this. I'm an empath.
I reckon this is Marina Sirtis.
Exactly. You put that little niggling right into our head and say, yep, that's... I'm going to bring it back later.
Did you say
I like how... one sec.
Did you say niggling?
Yes.
Is that like a black child?
Oh!
Well, that would be
No! Oh!
I'm
No, you're-
disappointed with you, Moon.
Frosted, you're thinking of niglet.
Oh, okay.
That's the racist term.
No, the definition of niggling is annoying, troubling, or irritating. Never mind.
So like a black kid, yeah.
Oh,
You're just digging the hole deeper, Moon.
oh.
Sorry, disavow.
There were only
Reavow.
Reavow.
There were only a few minutes before I needed to get back to work. I thought, I have time, at least time to check one message, and that's when my trans non-binary teen was dead named. Over the phone by an automated system, in a recorded voicemail, which I haven't deleted from my phone yet, and I don't know why any of those things just happened. Ultimately...
Whoa. Hold on. How the fuck can you be trans and non-binary? Because doesn't trans mean from one to another, yet this person is a trans non-binary?
You're trying to make sense of nonsense, Moonshock. You're trying to piece together something that was designed to be totally nonsensical. This was made up. This was fundamentally made up.
It's very simple. They are transitioning from whatever they were before to nothing.
They're transitioning
gun to your head.
They're transitioning from pointless crap to more pointless crap.
Go get some cement shoes and have someone throw you over the side of a boat, and then there you go. There's your transition, pal.
Just make sure you identify as floating so you don't trans.
Ultimately, this uncomfortable surprise feeling was short-lived. I gave the situation a head shake and laugh before shrugging it off. But see, I could only laugh because I had the privilege of this being a safe situation.
Oh my god.
A sort of best-case scenario. Hardly anything to complain about.
Yet.
Yeah, and yet.
The last time it happened wasn't so great. It was over 3 years ago, but I remember it like it was last night. It was something I was in no way equipped to handle as a parent, and I wouldn't ever want to repeat it, nor would I wish that specific horror on anyone.
Oh, the horror of
And
being
a
called the
reminder,
wrong name.
yeah, we're talking about being called the wrong name. Like, people get my name wrong all the time.
My own mother gets my name wrong all the time. She'll be like, as an example, because I'm not going to dox myself, but John, Jack, whatever your name is, that kind of thing.
Well, my mother calls me by my brother's names.
Yeah.
Like,
My sister gets me and my nephew mixed up.
Jesus fucking, and she's pretended this is the end of the world. I mistakenly called someone by the wrong name.
But you got to remember, it's an automated thing that called the kid by the wrong name. So where did it come from? Yeah, it wasn't even a lot. She said it was an automated. So it's like what? A doctor's office, a cold call? If that place that call has no idea your kid's transitioning or whatever, they're gonna call him by what's on file, you moron.
And then the kid presumably freaks out. Ah! Ah! And then
Jerry?
you don't slap them because you're trying to be supportive. And oh, by the way, isn't it convenient that your child suddenly found this out about themselves when this whole thing just exploded out of fucking nowhere, when it was most socially convenient to do so?
Norman, stop it.
Dead naming.
I will just confirm, check your logic. Yes, Jack Gunsky is his real name. I don't know why he pretends it isn't.
Yep. Also, he's a pug.
Yes.
Dead naming.
I will say my real name is not Jack, but I am, in fact, in real life, a pug dog.
That's right.
Do you identify it as it, though?
He's still in denial about his name being Jack, but...
He's trans pug.
Oh my God. I just realized
I'm non-pug nori.
I just realized that I love that movie so much. Would I be a Tron sexual?
There you go.
Hey.
And one of the things I said on Twitter ages ago was, if you can only get off by being hypnotized, you're a transsexual.
Son, could you hit your husband for me?
I will certainly do that the next time we are in vicinity of each other.
Okay.
That there's a restraining order involved.
Or you can just take the portal jack and come hit him yourself.
I lost my access to the portal. I lost the keys.
Moonshock can post some new ones.
Hey, shut up.
Dead naming for trans people is beyond a minor embarrassment. It's life-altering, painful, dangerous, or even deadly.
Oh my god. Get the flying fuck over yourself.
Oh, wow. You called me Christine when my real name is Christy.
Hold on.
What?
I'm doing the world's biggest jerk-off motion for you right now.
Look, leave it till after the stream, Jack.
No, he's got to do a release.
All right, as long as you burn it afterwards, it's okay.
Let's get a black candle and carve some runes into it.
Yeah, I need my me time from listening to this bitch.
Dead naming is the act of using a trans person's former name that they no longer use. The former name is sometimes referred to as one's given name, birth name, or legal name. This can be done either intentionally or unintentionally, and while dead name is often used as a noun, as in I hate my dead name, it's also widely accepted as a verb when referring to the act of using the wrong name for a trans person.
Okay, so according to this person, what Uncle Sam has as your name, nah, that's not my legal name. I'm known as this other freakazoid.
You know what? I mean, as far as the whole name change thing goes, yes, you can legally change your name to whatever the hell you want. There is no societal condition that mandates you must keep the same name. However, the notion that you might kill yourself if somebody calls you by your former name, even by accident, is absolutely ludicrous. If you
Fine.
kill yourself because someone called you the wrong name, it wasn't the name that killed you. It was your absolute batshit mentality that killed you.
Fine. Then my new name is Fuzzy Tit McNipple.
No, your name is and always will be Pogo Nip.
The culprit of my recent voicemail automated den naming episode was not too problematic, because it was a doctor's office who, over the years, has gone out of their way to be respectful in this regard. When our youngest came out as trans and switched to gender-neutral they-them pronouns, the office staff got it immediately and hasn't botched it since then, not even once, and that was 5 years ago, when singular they as a gender pronoun wasn't as mainstream. Not that it's mainstream now, but you get the idea. The point is, I don't know why the automated voicemail system didn't update, but I know this office has it right where it matters. Their printed records and every bit of correspondence, whether face-to-face or online, reflects as much. Odds are also likely that my trans teen won't ever hear that automated message, and that all I need to do is call the office and they'll fix it.
So this is a lot of complaining over literally nothing.
Yes.
Yep.
Chances are that the doctor's office probably hired out somebody to make those robocalls. It's probably not even associated with the office.
Oh my god, I changed my name yesterday, and for some reason, people are still calling me by my former name. Ah!
That kind of shit can get you arrested in Canada.
What happens to people when they go by, you know, how like some people got like their first and middle name, they go by either one?
Well, you have to change. You have to change both of them.
I mean, do people go batshit crazy if you get, you know, go by your middle name? Like, nope, and somebody calls you by your first name?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They might kill themselves.
See,
They
no,
might literally die.
We
This-
can
If people died just by mispronouncing names, we would have no population at all in this entire freaking world.
no.
Well, I know I would because he's calling me
The
Ginger.
kind, of,
So.
the kind of person who would kill themselves over this is the kind of person we probably don't really need in society anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm looking at this paragraph right here. This kid is in 6th fucking grade, 12 years old. You know, how many people when they were 12 had any fucking inkling as to what they would want in their lives as far as sexuality goes? You have a whole lot of kids. Oh, hey, I wish I could be this, or I wish I could be that. These days, it's like these parents hear these kids are, I wish I could have a vagina. And they're like, oh my God, you're trans? Okay, cool.
5-year-olds can be trans, Moonshock.
Bullshit.
12 is nothing. I've heard it go down as low as 5. I'm sure there's even younger.
Yeah, you want to know how these 5-year-olds are somehow trans fucking gender? They're stupid fucking demented parents. That is the key here.
Yes, those stupid fucking demented parents with the insight to understand their child's innermost desire and how it just so happens to reflect the parents' innermost desire to have a trans child.
Yeah,
So in
they-
essence, all these parents are all empaths, and oh my God, I know what my kids want. Oh my God, I'm up there. They're the wrong gender because I didn't have the right one.
They consulted tarot cards and everything.
Yeah,
They have a
and
release.
so many releases. So many releases.
When it happened 3 years ago, the circumstances were very different. My husband and I were taking our child to middle school orientation, 6th grade. It was a humid August evening in the South. Our child had just socially transitioned throughout 5th grade to present more in line with their gender identity. They went from being
Which they
known...
don't have. Which they don't have because they're non-binary.
Shut up, Terry. They went from being known as a boy with a masculine name to a boy who wears all girl clothes and uses weird pronouns. Did I mention this was in the South? Yeah.
Regardless of what the fuck you are, if you tell people to call you they them, you're like, as far as I know, the word them usually refers to more than one, and they usually refers to more than one. Since when did these words grammatically have their definitions changed? Just because some dumb fucker, no, I'm they them. I'm not gonna use any different pronouns.
They in the singular does make sense if you if you don't know the gender of the person that you're talking about. So, like,
Right.
if you say someone dropped their wallet, I should give it back to them. Like, you don't know who dropped the wallet, but
Right.
you're going to pick it up and you're going to chase them down. That's using they to refer to a single person.
Yes.
But in the situations they're talking about, you look at them. Okay, that's a boy in a girl's school uniform. That's obviously a boy. That doesn't work.
You know, or I guess, you know, concurrently, to say, oh, did you know about that person over there that wants to be such? Oh, them. Oh, hey, look, that's the correct use of that word. You're so proud of you. Shut up.
Even though they are trans non-binary, their gender expression is 110% feminine. It's just who they are. But around these here parts, other 5th grade boys and their parents don't normally take so well to feminine boys. And certainly no one around here could understand a human who was claiming to be neither male nor female.
Nice to know there's some places where common sense still exists.
So basically, what they're an it.
Yep. But our child was determined to live and express authentically, and when they got picked on, it seemed to only drive them to express even more feminine.
What?
I think they're
I
saying
thought they were
that.
non-binary.
I think they're saying that he was a pussy.
Well, yeah, but if they're non-binary, then how can they be even more feminine? You know, non-binary means neither side. So you are, in essence, nothing. Like you had said before, nothing. You're transitioning to be nothing.
Maybe
Look,
all these genders are just code for drama whore.
No, I think he's just a faggot. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
with Terry. I mean, this kid is probably gay. Didn't want to be. Oh my gosh, in the South. Oh, I'll go. Female, and then I'm okay being gay. Because
Well-
then I'm a hetero. I did.
Yeah, in my opinion, if you say you want to be a nothing, no person, you don't get any kind of surgery other than if you're a guy and you want to be nothing, you get your dick cut off, you have nothing but one little tiny pee hole. You don't get any kind of a gender reassignment surgery. You cut everything off, you make it nice and smooth, and all you have is one pee hole. Done.
And if you're female, you should lose your tits.
Well, that too, yes. I mean, I'm just jealous because I only have one, but I'm not a woman either. So there you go.
So you're non-binary.
Well, my remaining one has identifies as male. So.
Well, he only got one cutoff, so he's half non-binary.
Yeah.
I'm just a non-bi. There you go.
There you go. You're a non-bi guy.
Regardless, 5th grade was a difficult year for many reasons, and after talking through it, we all decided our child needed a fresh start at a new middle school, somewhere none of their peers were going. A school where they'd be unknown and could reasonably expect a fair amount of privacy.
So you took them to
Until the first
California?
day he walked out in a dress.
So they moved him to California. Got it.
Loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills.
Just gonna do
Non-binary.
one more paragraph, then skip to the conclusion.
Oh, thank you very much.
By that summer's end, they'd grown their hair out long and wavy, and by nature, they had delicate facial features and other stereotypically female identifiers like girls' glasses and long painted fingernails.
Again, non-fucking binary. What part of that do you not understand?
All of it. They don't understand any of it because it's not a real thing.
God.
When wearing girls' clothing and accessories head to toe, strangers always assumed we had a cisgender girl, not a trans girl, and certainly not a trans non-binary person. Everyone we encountered in stores and restaurants would refer to our child as she, her, and your daughter. And our child was fine with this. They only wanted to do away with their former masculine aspects. Wait, I thought their pronouns were they, them.
Exactly. Stupid motherfucking whatever the hell this dumbass kid, they, them, whatever. You are calling yourself non-binary. Why are you dressing such and such? Why are you dressing such? Why are you accepting these feminine pronouns? I got nothing. Continue.
I will just remind this kid of about half of the rules of the Australian University no poofters.
Let's see.
And I am. I would actually bet money that this kid's probably going to end up killing themselves by the time they turn 20.
Presumably, and you know,
Because I have a
It's
feeling
about-
by that time.
I'm
Go ahead.
reminded of what is it? Matt Christensen and Blonde on their show when they're talking about Desmond is amazing. Always talking about raising the legal defense fund for when he grows up and inevitably murders his parents. Maybe that's what the world needs. There should be lawyers out there in school right now who see this potential opening in the market for kids who are totally fucked over by their lousy parents and end up killing them.
Well, this here is the definition of child abuse.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say the kid is either going to kill themselves or their parents, one of the two.
And they
it's
talk about
Ellen Page.
Elliot Page at some point.
No, Ellen, you are not going to get the surgery, so you are fucking Ellen. You shut your goddamn mouth.
Maybe she is fucking Ellen. I mean, Ellen is a lesbian.
Yeah.
So Ellen is basically having sex with herself.
All right. So to the conclusion, using a trans person's chosen name, even when maybe the person transitioning was already in the public eye, like Elliot Page, is not only the right thing to do, but also the least thing we can do to honor and respect trans people. And
I
despite
disagree. I can do even less.
and despite all our grumbling over trans issues, like, I just can't get used to this new name, I've known her forever as insert feminine name here, we don't seem to have
Or
this...
you're just doing this for attention. Stop enabling this person who's just doing it for attention.
Ding, 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 ding.
We don't seem to have the same amount of difficulty when someone we know gets married and changes their last name.
Yeah,
Sure.
because it's their last name. You usually refer to people by their first name.
Mm-hmm.
No, I refer to everybody by their full name all the time. Sure, we might mess up at...
Mr. F. Glass is like the proper way to address you.
F glass. F it.
that would hurt.
Put your dick up.
From the people who brought you Smack Your Bitch Up, Cut Your Dick Up. Which actually fits this article. Sure, we might mess up a time or two, just out of habit, but afterwards we make
evil. And that is evil.
Yeah. But afterwards we make a very intentional, very conscious effort to not mess it up again. Respect for the chosen names of trans people should be no different. Oh, and Johnny Hellcat is doxing you in chat, Terry.
I saw that.
Bocephus.
Bocephus.
Initials TBD, to be determined.
All right. And now it's time for the last game of the night, which is for the chat only, and that's the caption contest. All right, where I will show a...
Don't you dare try and write a name in this caption contest.
Jack Gunsky has been timed out for 5 minutes.
I think you should future crime Gunsky and time him out in advance.
Hey!
Find something he said previously and time his ass out.
All right, where I will show a photo of a political figure or event, and people in the chat have to come up with a caption for it, and whichever one we think is best, I'll tweet out after the show.
Timed him out.
And here's this week's photo.
Hey! You son of a bitch! Absolute son of a bitch!
A not at all creepy looking Joe Biden at the CNN town hall.
What the fuck is wrong with his eyes? Is he part Chinese?
I think he just doesn't want to look at her. He's just trying to close his eyes as much as he can.
What's she doing? With that mouth though, she's like, oh.
Why, yes, ma'am, I am staring at your breasts.
No, she's not. No, she's too old.
By about 40 years.
Yeah.
I think he's just like imagining kittens or something. Like he has no idea where he is.
And he's just going through shit like, oh, that's an awfully good looking scarf that guy's wearing over there.
Do the
I love
smell
kids.
like the drapes.
And all of you know that I love kids.
I wonder what she smells like.
Maybe her last name fits. I'll sniff her to find out. Let's see.
Now, if the chat wants to keep it going for about another 200 seconds, Jack might actually be able to put something in there.
Well, it only lasts another 199 seconds, so.
Where did you put the girl? I want to squish her like Wonka's blueberry.
It's just Head and Shoulders. I know.
I can't stop looking at the guy in the back with the mask on. That's
Yeah.
where none of the other two have got masks, but yet that guy in the back's got a mask on.
Oh, because she's at the mic, obviously, and because when you're at the microphone, you can not possibly ever get coronavirus. Just like if you're in like a Black Lives Matter rally or a riot, you're immune to the effect, of course.
Or
There's
pharmacy.
Yeah. My last name is Fish, not my perfume. Gross.
I'll give it another 20 more seconds or so.
Yeah, when is Jack's timeout last?
I'd like to say this game was rigged.
No, you're not playing, remember?
No, it's been de-rigged. What is her name again? Who is she? Is she my new nurse?
Does make you wonder if he actually has a full staff of nurses at all times that accompany, almost like Hillary with that black doctor that she had that went everywhere with her.
Oh, I'm sure he does. All right, so which one do you guys think is best?
I like Game of Verlaine with the Head and Shoulders.
I know. Do the curtains smell like the drapes?
Evolved Potato. Woman, Mr. President, how are you going to help me pay for my trans 5-year-old hormone treatment? Biden. Well, I was like pickles.
That one's my favorite. And it came in before the end, I think. So, yeah. I was like pickles.
Well, I was like pickles.
Why'd you ask where my 5-year-old sister is? Evolved Potatoes got my vote.
I think Potatoes would have served better if he shortened the first part, but yeah, I like his the best.
Yeah. All right. Terry, Son, what do you guys think?
I already said Verlaine with Head and Shoulders.
Oh, all right. Son?
I like Evolved Potatoes.
All right. So
She's not under duress to make that decision, by the way.
Huh?
Well, I guess it doesn't really matter what I vote for then, because looks like Evolved wins.
Yay!
Right.
It's that scratch and sniff. Gross.
So I'll just copy that down to tweet it out later.
With the look on Biden's face, that's creepy. I mean, every look he has ever made is just creepy as fuck. And I'm like, who would vote for this guy? I mean, I really have to wonder what the percentage of votes for him, all fraud aside, were actually cast because he wasn't Trump, as opposed to genuine votes for him.
Well, before we get too far away, celebratory release for Evolved Potato.
Oh.
When I took the screenshot, I made sure to pause it when he gave the really creepy, like, Joker smile.
Yeah.
Dead people. I mean, yeah, he would actually pass for. He probably would make a very good Joker.
And now for the titular article of the night.
He's a tit.
Is it time for a titular article?
Why the impeachment trial is an indictment of white people.
Oh my god.
All of America's white sins were on display for the world to see.
Of course, it's made by a black man.
By Marley K.
Who obviously only has a letter for his last name.
It looks like a woman.
That's what I thought.
Oh, maybe you're right. Who cares? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I dead name you?
No, you dead gendered.
Dead
Alright.
I don't know. It's ambiguous at best. All right.
Oh. Did you go to a different article?
What?
Oh, no, you just clicked on them. Okay.
All right. I have watched the second impeachment trial on and off all week, and all I could think about was how Trump's trial is an indictment of whiteness. Trump's acquittal was the icing on the cake. My takeaways. The trial highlighted the white violence America has ignored for centuries. She misspelled trial. America has ignored white violence for centuries, allowing racist white people to grow more violent, to gather more frequently, to infiltrate systems, to act out on their violent fetishes, and to condone white violence at the lowest levels of our society. From school shootings to lynchings, America is a violent nation, and it's undeniable.
How many lynchings happen these days? Honestly.
Not enough.
Because as far as I know, nobody gets lynched anymore.
And we need to fix that.
It's like the meme of the wiki article. You know, this article is unfinished. You can help by adding to it.
Yeah.
This nation has more people now than this nation has ever had in its history. Yet we're ruled by laws, rules, and traditions dating back to the 1400s. Our laws haven't.
We're ruled by rules.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Our laws haven't kept up with the growth and evolution of white supremacy and white violence. The impeachment trial is a natural progression of white violence on steroids uncontrolled.
Is it a trial or a trail?
It's a trail, she said earlier.
Okay, just clarifying.
Yeah. White mediocrity was on full display. Trump's defense team was the most mediocre motherfuckers ever.
So they're better now. They're much better motherfuckers than they were during the trial.
I believe she means were the most mediocre motherfuckers, but whatever. They couldn't represent a loaf of bread in a bread shelf trial, and the entire world got to see it.
Great analogy. Great.
Yeah. Of course, white, no college onlookers will think Trump's mediocre white male attorneys did great. They see themselves on trial. They see themselves in those racist white attorneys too. But the fact they'd get up and argue the trash facts so racistly, it's shocking. The trial showed how whiteness sticks together in all its wrongness. White GOP senators and representatives, with the exception of the few who are halfway trying to do the right thing, are sticking together with Trump in all his wrong and all his racism. Okay, maybe a proofreading would have helped.
No. Remember, grammar Nazism is white supremacy.
Yeah. White people do this shit all the time, although they don't believe they do. Turning your head and looking the other way, engaging in whataboutism, lying for your white friends, getting dirty money together, being racists, forgetting the law when it benefits you and your dirty crew of white bandits, and stomping on the rights and privileges of black and brown folks.
Oh, shut up.
That's how I like to spend my weekend. If allies want to see what we see when we see most white people without a proven track record of looking and sounds anti-white, watch the GOP at work. Okay, this grammar is breaking my brain.
It's perfect grammar for a black person. So
I don't care how good you believe you are. You have or will engage in sticking together for white people. The impeachment trial and the events leading up to it highlight how white people stick together. Even the good white folks who sit on the sidelines and do nothing while the other white people tear the club up. You're still sticking together.
Wait, so this person who undoubtedly would argue that black people should stick together is now saying white people bad because they stick together?
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, black people sticking together is good people sticking together.
Sticking together is what good waffles do.
Yeah. Even during the trial, racism was used. Trump's impeachment trial is symbolic of all the types of racism white people engage in at any old time. From the ugly insurrection symbols and sounds to the defense's racist video loaded with black and brown people, white folks' love affair with racism and their anti-blackness was on display.
Now, as a reminder, blackness is actually code for Satsu's penis.
I thought that black inclusion was supposed to be a good thing.
So they're just against Satsu's penis. We saw how black women's words were weaponized. Were weaponized, we knew Representative Maxine Waters, Stacey Abrams, and Representative Sheila Jackson would be used to make Tang's weak-ass case. Senator Harris was used. Breonna Taylor's name was invoked, and she was long dead before an insurrection had ever happened. Racism led to her death and the cover-up of her death. No, it didn't.
Just a fact check. Senator Harris was not used. She used Willie Brown. They got it the wrong way around.
Yeah. Also, racism didn't lead to Breonna Taylor's death. Her drug-dealing boyfriend led to it.
That's potato.
Yeah. No offensive of potato. George Floyd's death was dragged into the impeachment. Racism led to his death. We still have no proof of that. Trump's racist defense decided to blame a dead man who was nowhere near the insurrection because he'd been dead for months. Racism loves...
Maybe racism is the street name for fentanyl.
Yeah, could be. Racism loves blaming victims. To top it all off, the defense even used the word Negro in what I'm almost certain is a dog whistle for the GOP base.
How dare them?
I'm sure there was no context to that at all.
Yeah, well, according to this tweet they're showing, it looks like they're quoting something from the 60s, but, you know. Either way. You can't even make this stuff up. White people are shamefully racist and are absolutely incapable of doing anything about it. The impeachment trial highlighted all of it. The smugness of whiteness was in the house. Isn't in the house a good thing? I don't know. The impeachment trial highlighted Senator Rand Paul not wearing a mask. E, just random letter E, saw Senator Josh Hawley being his usual Ivy League arrogant asshole self. We looked on at Senator Ted Cruz looking a hot mess, being a hot mess, and stewing in a hot mess. Even
so
when
they think Ted Cruz is hot, okay.
Yep.
What does this have to do with anything?
Everything. This is all very important. Even
what does not wearing a mask have to do with whiteness?
Some of the masks are white, Jack.
Structural racism? Yeah, I'll go with that. Even when white people are wrong, their arrogance and smugness work in an effort to cover their racist ways. White people will use their smugness to get out of almost everything. Impartial justice is impossible in America. The entire justice system is racist. The fact we can't even get an impartial jury of white people to convict a white man we all saw incite an insurrection and lived the lead up to it is an indictment on white supremacy. It looks and feels like when white folks would bomb our churches, lynch innocent black men and women, find the white folks that did it, have a trial, and find the white men innocent, denying justice to black families harmed. The lack of justice in this nation makes it dangerous. America is not a democracy. Black
That's
people,
actually true.
yeah, we're a representative republic.
Mm-hmm.
Black people live in an authoritarian regime. White people have a democracy. Truth be told, white people don't have a democracy anymore either.
So what are you talking about?
I don't know. She just changed her mind mid-sentence.
That's what it sure sounds like. It's like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just going to say it anyway.
Whataboutism was trendy. White whataboutism was on Front Street during the defense. I'm not sure what's slang and what's just bad grammar.
It's all the same.
Was on Front Street during the defense part of the impeachment trial. The things white people bring up instead of taking responsibility for racism, the deflection, the excuses, the victim blaming. If you're white and this is what you do when black folks call out your racism, this is what you looked and sounded like. Whataboutism what pretty much Trump's legal team's defense.
So I'm going to say the issues with the writing in this article, the bubonic plague strikes again.
Yeah. Whataboutism in defense of racism is foolish, but it's what so many white people do. Watch Trump's defense team using white folks' favorite deflection tool. I hope it gives you white readers food for thought. Every tool Trump's legal team employed are the tools of white supremacy used against us minorities and non-white folks when we try to hold white people accountable for racism. He didn't do anything whiteness didn't teach him to do. Think about that.
Here's me flipping you off and go telling you to go fuck yourself. Just saying.
Okay. I'll do 2 more paragraphs and skip to the conclusion. White people, it seems, can get away with anything and still be okay. Plan and carry out an insurrection, they are okay. Racist MAGAs that breach the capital spelled wrong, are out on bail, going to retreats in Mexico, and getting home confinement instead of revoked bails because they are a danger to the nation. As for Trump, he's at his golf resort with all the lovely perks afforded decent non-treasonous presidents after serving honorably. No criminal charges have been announced yet, because he hasn't been convicted of a crime. He was allowed to...
Orange is inherently evil.
Yeah.
Orange. Yes, the color orange itself is now racist.
Yes.
Let's see. He was allowed to remain in office and fly away in all of our taxpayer-funded shit after he literally tried to prevent the transfer of power. No, he didn't. Trump's attorneys are crappy. His defense is crappy. The GOP excuses are shitty. Wow, that's real writing genius here. Like they all just do anything and white people keep voting these people into power. The bar is so low for white people, like in hell.
I would love to have this person become a lawyer themselves. Excuse me, everyone. I know that my client was on videotape murdering that person, but the prosecution is crappy.
Yes.
Also your written defense here. There's a lot of misspellings in it.
It's bad.
But is it orange?
Trump's legal team deflected more than Wonder Woman dodging bullets. But is she deflecting them or dodging them?
Yeah, I was gonna say, doesn't she have those magical bracelets that can deflect bullets?
Yeah, you can't dodge and deflect. It's one or the other.
Oh, but you can. But
Every
She
time,
dodge flected them.
yeah. Every time there was a legitimate accusation lodged against Trump with proof, Trump's legal team deflected. The GOP helped. White GOP politicians helped protect their orange lord and savior with deflection. It's another tool in white supremacy's arsenal used by white people everywhere when they're just wrong. Antifa twisting the words of senators, using photos of violence from other events, etc. Trump's white man's defense team showed up and showed out with the deflection tactics. White people will deflect when all else fails. Anything to avoid feeling shame for what they've done, they'll do it.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, the lesson. The impeachment trial is a lesson in how white supremacy works and rules America. Every system in this country is designed to preserve whiteness, which is why I could give two fucks about America collapsing. Nothing gets
nice.
nothing gets better for us black and brown folks, no matter who has the power. We get racism or racism light, never racism free. So who cares about what happens?
I will make a pledge right here, right now. I will never charge a cent for my racism. Guaranteed 100% racism free.
Yeah, and I'll second that. Let's see.
You ain't getting my racism free. That's how capitalism works, baby.
Well, they do say, if you're good at something, never do it for free.
You're not entitled to my emotional labor. White people keep selling us their optimism when we've already seen the same movie for 400 years. It's insulting to keep telling us to wait on white people to get it. White people don't want to get it.
That's why we use protection.
Getting it means they'd have to change. They don't want to change. White supremacy is an institution in our nation, and white people keep it alive. I'm not saying my white readers shouldn't be angry about the trial or the outcome of it. This insurrection has been a hard pill to swallow for all of us. I want white readers to think about the people who experienced similar white violence while you likely sat on the sidelines. Think about your favorite white politicians who prevent justice.
I don't have favorite politicians, white or otherwise.
Uh-huh.
Think about all the white people who get off and go free because white people work together to protect other white people, even when they're wrong. They
And
protect
how
them.
many black people didn't get prosecuted with all those riots?
Stop
So-
changing the subject, son. That's racist.
Okay. I'm just like listening to this article and I'm going, you're blaming white people for getting off free and sticking together. I'm like, didn't you all do that during the riots? But okay. I don't know.
No, that was for justice.
Oh, well, yeah.
Uh,
Hypocrisy.
They protect them even when they kill. White people protect each other as they collaborate as co-conspirators of white supremacy, even if it means non-white people are harmed physically, financially, mentally, or emotionally. White supremacy is a savage bitch.
Alabaster, savage bitch.
The impeachment trial is an indictment of whiteness. It's shameful. America is an international embarrassment now. We can't tell anyone about democracy. We don't have one ourselves. We've
Just
never...
to answer Johnny in chat, who says, what do orgasms have to do with this? If the author had had a couple, maybe we wouldn't have to sit through this article.
Yeah, that's why you have a release on the new moon.
Yeah, and why she keeps talking about getting off.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've never had one. America is here because white people refuse to deal with racism. Your white apathy got us here. White optimism got us here. Sweeping racism under the rug got us here. Whataboutism got us here. Deflection got us here. White smugness got us here. Not listening to black and Native American people got us here. Everything we're experiencing in America was avoidable, but white people, the ruling group of this country, chose the easy way out. They chose to bury their heads in the sand. What do you have to say for yourselves? I really want to know. Whatever it is, please don't let it be anything about me or black people. This is a white mess created by white people. The only conversations in this comment need to be about how white people let America down. Well, then you're not really asking, are you? It's not a party problem, it's a white supremacy problem. We have a white people problem. All of you are problems. If you haven't figured it out by now, it's too late. This nation is
Can
a
you
wrap.
imagine if they put any other race in that sentence?
Yeah.
We have a black people problem. All of you are problems. If you haven't figured it out by now, it's too late.
Now, that would be racist, but, you know,
Yeah.
white people are just inferior, so it's okay. This nation is a wrap. The next coup is being planned as we speak. What are you going to do about it?
Nothing.
I think we all learned something here today.
Yeah, this woman's an idiot.
Black people write articles.
No, this Marley Kay is a woman.
Yeah,
And-
don't let black people write articles.
And you should see her about. I write intelligent, unvarnished thoughts on anti-blackness, racism, and politics. Intelligent? I'm sorry, how many errors were in that story?
She means smart for a black person.
Yeah, I think by
Like 80.
I think by unvarnished she means unedited.
She's editor of Marley-isms in, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word, Afro, Sapiophile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sa-
Top
sa-
writer in
sapien?
racism, Black Lives Matter, and government and politics. Afro what? Sapiophile?
I'd
Stop
say
making
there's I'd say there's plenty of varnish on this because it stinks to high heaven.
Womp womp.
No. That's just you being racist.
Yeah, stop it.
Now, notice that I said that this was the titular article, but not the last article. Because because we're not going to read the whole thing, but we are going to have a brief look at an article I found on Medium just for the birthday boy.
Oh dear God, please don't.
Something on Tron so we can make fun of him.
No, don't you dare.
Unconventional masculinity in the films of Garrett Hedlund.
Nice.
No.
Happy birthday, Moon.
Why? Why would you do this to me?
Happy birthday, Moon.
Yeah.
Like I said, we won't read the whole thing. We'll just have a brief look at it.
Oh,
When
Moon wants to look at his briefs, all right.
Shut up.
When I
You
resolved
don't
when I resolved to watch Garrett Hedlund's filmography, I'd only seen 2 of his films, Tron Legacy and Mudbound.
Best movie ever. Not
Mudbound.
Mudbound.
In one, he played an effectively charming protagonist, and in the other, he was acting, a rare occurrence as I later learned,
Oh, shots fired.
You. Man.
Somewhere between the 2 movies, I got the impression he was talented, underrated, and only in 20 feature films. The question became, why shouldn't I watch all of them?
Oh, God.
You only need to watch one of them. I mean,
3
why
months-
would you want anything else? Well, he was okay in Aragon, but that's all right. Anyway.
3 months later, I have many answers. I have watched some horrific films. I have also seen Garrett sing with Gwyneth Paltrow, sleep with Steve Buscemi, and die for Brad Pitt. I have observed his terrible chemistry with Kelly MacDonald and his electrifying chemistry with Oscar Isaac. I've spent far too much time analyzing the patterns in his career. Firstly, that Garrett can act but rarely does. Secondly, that he can't do accents, which factors into a persistent typecasting. Finally, that his characters repeatedly exhibit a fascinating relationship with conventional masculinity that deserves further examination.
He's a man. He's going to be masculine. You shut your goddamn mouth.
It's unconventional masculinity.
I don't care. How dare you? There's a picture right there. Oh, hey, no.
Can you send this story to me so I can read it to him to make his head explode?
No.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
No.
All
No.
right, let's see.
A bedtime story from Moonshock.
No.
Hey, you had to read that Richie woo woo to me while driving. Guess what? Payback, bitch.
All right, so skipping ahead a little. There is no single explanation for this queer subtext which runs through Garrett's filmography. At times, this subtext is actively distorted. For example, Patroclus and Achilles' exact relationship has been debated throughout history, but in Troy, where Garrett plays Patroclus, it is explicitly conceived as homosocial. Director Wolfgang Peterson casts the two men as cousins. This undermines any explanation that relies on intentional casting, as the film goes out of its way to remove the potential for a queer reading of the intense male relationship. To date,
Shut up.
to date,
What does homosocial mean? Is that like a typo, or is that an actual thing in today's world?
they say it more than once, so it's not a typo.
Okay.
To date, the only character portrayed by Garrett who is explicitly sexually involved with men is Dean Moriarty in On the Road. Again, this is an interesting case. What was that?
I said I read that as on the rod.
Oh.
As the film blurs the line between fiction and reality. In contrast to Troy, On the Road emphasizes non-conforming acts which are sidelined in the book. There is no doubt in Kerouac's novel that sex between men occurs, but it is never faced head-on. Rather, it happens on the edges of consciousness, through euphemism, whereas the film is extremely clear. The implications of this on Dean's sexuality are open to individual interpretation. However,
so in other words, the book was subtle and the movie was overt and tacky.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently. However, both Patroclus and Dean Moriarty, in their own way, exhibit an ambiguous and inherently disruptive sexuality.
Those rascals.
To define Garrett's cinematic relationship with masculinity as a lack of is profoundly inaccurate, if for no other reason than that he is a man and his gender expression is male. Realistically, though, Garrett also matches the stereotypical imagery of masculinity. Certainly, he is intertextually targeted for not living up to conventional standards, but this should not be taken at face value. The characters who make such claims are particularly untrustworthy adjudicators of moral value.
You shut your goddamn mouth. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Furthermore, the queer subtext which runs through his films, noted above, does not serve to make him any more or less masculine. It simply emphasizes an atypical but no less legitimate relationship with masculinity. Garrett's best roles have been when he is allowed to exemplify this otherness in contrast to the straight center of the film, such as in Mudbound.
So long story short, Tron Legacy is a gay superhero movie.
No, it's just a subtext.
Slash rage quit.
Such as in Mudbound, On the Road, and unquestionably Aragon. The interesting aspects of this otherness are its consistency and its subtlety. Throughout Garrett's filmography, gender and sexuality play different symbolic roles at different times, but they never completely align with expectations.
You just said that it wasn't subtle in On the Road. You just said that. You just said that.
This person is obviously so full of bullshit that they don't even know what the hell they just said 3 seconds ago. That's what they're going to say.
Internal consistency is white supremacy.
That's right. His unconventionality is thus transgressive, and how close it appears to conventionality. Now, I'm just gonna like this article.
You better not.
Stop, he's already dead.
You asshole. That's so cruel.
Are you going to leave a comment? Oh, please. Yes. Yes.
Don't you dare. More than subtext. You. Metaphor. I hate you. I hate you.
All right,
Yeah.
and that brings us to the end of the corner this week.
I hate you.
I'd like to thank my co-host, Jack Gunsky, Moonshock,
I'm never coming back.
Terry Diamantis,
I have a newfound respect for Lucy Amelia Palmer.
and our special guest, Sunburst.
Hi guys, or bye guys.
And I'll just do a quick shill for my co-host and guest. Let's see. Jack Gunsky has Quippers United on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's see. Moonshock has a Twitch channel where he plays games like Grounded and 7 Days to Die. The link of which is in the description.
Yes. I'll also be playing Subnautica here very soon, and of course these two Alabaster Savages want me to play The Room. I'll think about it.
And let's see. Terry Diamantis is on he's on Quippers United. He's on Johnny Hellcat streams.
Yep.
Minions of the Zoo on Delahaye's nights, and on One Ton Hammers nights, right?
No, I realized that he wanted to do that on the same night as the corner, so I had to cancel that.
Oh, all right. Let's see. And am I missing anything?
Yeah, I suppose I'm on Six's channel often enough on his sober streams, so you can find me there too.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably find all of us there.
Yeah.
And Son, do you have anything to shill?
God no. I have a lot.
I'll tell you what, she makes the best cupcakes ever.
That's right. So if you want Sunburst cupcakes, be sure to watch her
Oh,
on the Sunburst Bakes channel.
oh. No, you will not be watching my wife do anything. Thank you very much. You keep your goddamn eyes to yourself.
Um,
Lost the keys to the portal. The only one you got to worry about is Terry.
Dante accidentally brings up a good point. There is an actual series of games called The Room that is nothing to do with Tommy Wiseau. That's not what Moonshock is being badgered to play. We want him to play the game version of the Tommy Wiseau movie. It's kind of like a point-and-click adventure game.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it has to be a great game because The Room is a masterpiece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Tomorrow.
incidentally, the room he's referring to is also a point-and-click adventure game, but
No.
it is not based off of the movie The Room.
Which makes
No,
it
that's
inferior.
what I'm saying. Yeah. The Room, as in the adventure game series, is kind of like a escape the room kind of thing, whereas this is just the script of The Room in video game form.
All right. So that's all that we have for tonight. So tune in next week, same time, where our guest should be Prospero.
Cool.
Yay.
And
2 ladies in a row.
just get a quick bye from my co-host and guest, Jack.
Get out of here. It's over.
Moonshock.
Have a good night, everybody.
Terry.
Vote Tron Legacy is the best gay superhero movie.
No.
Yep, that's right. And Sunburst.
Sent you a message, Frosted. Please send me that article.
Do not send her that article.
Oh,
I
I,
want
I surely will. All right. See you guys next week.
Bye, everyone.